Hey, what's up, guys? This is Norb from NorbCam coming at you. Blue Friday before the big matchup between the Seattle Seahawks and the Atlanta Falcons. Coming at you here from the NorbCam studios, powered by Hunt's Plumbing and Mechanical. Your problem doesn't stand a chance. All right, I am totally excited about this game. You know, we've had Seattle's fortunate to be 3-1 right now, coming off the bye week, but I feel like we haven't really been tested yet by facing a really elite offense. And obviously, coming into this game, we are facing the number one offense in the league in the Atlanta Falcons. Of course, they're coming up against us, the number one defense in the league. So it's going to be Clash of the Titans right here, baby. So it's going to be coach versus head coach who used to work together. Two top NFC teams going at it for potential playoff implications. It's going to be off the charts, man. But to get into the mode here and really hear both sides of the equations, I want to introduce you to a guy who's a diehard Falcons fan like I am a diehard Seahawks fan. And that is, well, why don't you introduce yourself, man? Introduce yourself to the 12s and tell them all about who you are.
Well, first of all, NorbCam and Seattle Seahawks fan base, 12th man up there in the Pacific Northwest. It's a pleasure to be on your show, sir. And it's probably even more of a pleasure for you to have me on your show from hot Atlanta, sir. I'm SportsLiveInTheATL, David. I've been an Atlanta sports fan since 1980. Slightly younger than Norb, I think. So
barely.
I'm ready for this. He said like a smidge, right? I'm really excited about the game, y'all. The Falcons, for those of you who followed since YouTube was created pretty much, actually since 2002, since Michael Vick was gotten here, we've had pretty consistent teams of hopeful to win Super Bowls. And the last couple of years haven't gone our way, but I feel really strong about this year. The media's testing us per se, always because if you're an Atlanta, you know what, Norb and Seahawks fans, when you're an Atlanta fan, you're always getting that label as chokers and can't win the big one. As if beating Seattle in the 2012 playoffs, eliminating you guys, wasn't proof enough. Here we go again. I expect to go up to Seattle. The Falcons will be the 12th man team. Dan Quinn will come up there, and he will leave with a victory. We're enjoying our week right now up there, and they're just going to end with the buffet of a W come Sunday. So Seahawks fans, don't get sour too much. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. You might take your division.
All right, let's get the bold predictions. We'll get to that a little bit later. All right, let's kind of work into it a little slow here. You're kind of jumping right into things. I want to,
Yeah, you know me. Yeah,
I know you're cutting right to the chase, but that's all right. So you brought up the 2012 season. Now I got to get this out of the way. First of all, is that I've seen a lot of your videos, man. I respect your passion and your fandom for your Falcons and everything, and I just understand your pain. But I got to say that Atlanta Falcons, they're actually a team. For me personally, it's actually hard for me to hate because one, you guys are in the same division as Carolina, and I can't stand Carolina. So I root for you guys at least twice a year. And you got our.
There are reasons why you don't like Carolina?
Oh well, one particular one. He just bugs me, man. I just can't. That guy. He's being humbled this year for sure. We'll see what happens, but
he's Superman, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I said,
yeah, he is for sure.
One reason. But anyway, you got our former defensive coordinator, who I love, Dan Quinn, great coach. Your owner seems like a pretty cool guy, Arthur Blank, right? And so just that out of the way, I do respect the Falcons. Now, you guys did get us and broke our hearts in 2012 in that playoff game that we should have won. Save for, the field goal. I mean, you guys barely beat us, but you did. You did beat us. However, I will say that thanks to that loss, you guys gave us the motivation and the will and the feeling of destiny that the next year we were going to take it all the way, and we did. So I guess we should thank you guys for making us a Super Bowl champion the following year.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm glad we can assist you in your quest for glory.
So, yes, I appreciate the fact that you helped set that up for us. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the game. All right, so you guys are, 6.5 point underdogs going into this game? You guys are 4-1.
Yeah, the last time I looked yesterday.
All right. And other than losing to the Buccaneers in the opener, I don't know how you guys did that. But you guys are number one in yards, number one in points, passer rating. second in passing touchdowns. Obviously, Julio Jones went off 2 games ago against the Panthers. Again, thank you for that.
Welcome, sir.
Your running back tandem has been pretty amazing with Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman running and pass catching. Tight ends are contributing. I watch you guys, and it's like the greatest show on turf 2.0. And so tell me, what is the reason why Atlanta's been so successful this year?
Well, first of all, Norb, confidence. The Falcons are, when you win, you play with confidence. When you play with confidence, you start making plays. If you're not playing well and you get down on yourself, then you start to second guess yourself. Therefore, you don't put forth a lot of effort. And you feel like if something bad happens, oh no, here we go again. With the Falcons, first of all, Norb, Matt Ryan is upright, and that's always important. Like you and I talked about already, if your quarterback, which is the engine of your team, is not being able to survey the field, make plays and decisions, guide the line to where they need to be, the players, and, control the crowd, you're not going to do well. So it starts with Matt Ryan. It starts with the confidence that he has in Julio Jones that's been built over the last couple of years, because Roddy White was the first comfort blanket, then Tony Gonzalez and stuff. But Ryan just seems so poised, sir. He seems like he can't do no wrong. He didn't let the interception 2 weeks ago against the Panthers bother him. Came right back, astronomical numbers. I like the fact that we're distributing the ball to everybody. People, because I expect the Seahawks, honestly, North, to probably shadow Julio, maybe 2 Sherman down, and maybe Bennett along the middle. I'm not sure how that's going to go for you guys, but we got a lot of playmakers on our team, man, and it's like you're going to pick your poison. Everybody's contributing from every side.
Well, let me ask you something. So you brought up about the whole thing about you guys being chokers, the label that you guys have gotten, and probably why you guys...
Well, you had to say that.
Well, you brought it up, so I'm just reiterating. But the press,
here you go.
They don't give you a whole lot of respect there. But
right,
you guys started off, what was it, 5-0 last year?
It was 5-0 last year.
Last year. So you guys had a hot start last year. What's the difference? What's to believe that you guys won't do the same thing as last year?
Well, a couple of reasons, Norb and Seahawks Nation. Confidence, number one. Number two, the 5-0 start that we had last year, in the first couple of weeks, we put up a lot of points. But it was pretty much, if you followed it, was Freeman, Julio, and Matt Ryan. Now, when you think about it, everybody's getting involved, from Austin Hooper, from Aldrick Robertson. Eric Weems is contributing. Mohamed Sanu has had a moment where he's done some things. Tevin Coleman, he's not fumbling the ball, because Coleman was playing well last year, North. But he would get a big run and fumble the ball. So the fact, in order to win in this league, you have to play with confidence. You have to have ball security. You have to have good vision and trust in your players. And everybody has to be working apart. But the huge part in this is Alex Mack coming over from Cleveland, because he's kind of like that big bull in the middle that's setting, getting Jake Matthews right and getting our other guards right and trying to get him in position. He's opening up running lanes for the Freeman, because some of the plays that Freeman made against the Broncos, because Freeman's pretty small. Mm-hmm. He's strong, but he's small. But he actually made some plays in the middle where he busted some tackles. Coleman was able to get out. So I think we're built better. We're playing better at 4-1 than we were at 5-0, because we made a lot of penalties and stuff. And I don't know. You know how it is. When you guys in 2012, you guys made it all the way to divisionals. And then the next year you won the Super Bowl and went to Super Bowl again after that. So I'm pretty sure you saw progression from year to year, where things that happened one year didn't happen that current year that you're playing. So, everything is just working, Norb. So I'm happy with that.
Well, what'll be fun to see, what everybody's talking about, of course, is, number one offense against our defense. Seahawks defense right now is number one total defense, second in pass defense, third in scoring defense, second in passer rating, and has only allowed 1 passing touchdown. Obviously, that's what everyone's talking about.
And is that supposed to intimidate me? Is that supposed to intimidate
I'm not trying to intimidate you. I'm just stating the facts, sir. So,
okay. I just want to make sure.
But I'll say this one caveat, is that we have not really played a great offense yet. So this will be Seattle's definitely their biggest test. And my feeling is that I don't think Julio Jones will be the story. I think he'll get his catches, but I don't think he's going to be like he was 2 games ago. I think it'll be kind of like what happened in Denver. It will probably be kind of reduced to sort of a contributor, but not a major factor. But I am concerned about those backs coming out of the backfield. To be honest, that's been Seattle's weakness for a while, even going back a couple seasons ago. I've seen that work against them, just even against the Jets in our last game, that they were having success against us with that. Seattle is kind of a bend but don't break defense, however, that they give up a lot of stuff in the middle, but usually not the big play, and usually they might give up field position, but eventually they'll hold up tight and keep teams to a field goal and keep the scoring low, which is why they lead in so high in scoring defense.
To me, field position is going to be extremely important for sure in this one right here. I think the fact of how the Seahawks play defense, and to me, I think the Falcons pretty much have to play the way they did against Denver. Taking the crowd out early, which we did. From the last time I checked, because I don't want anybody to get hurt. I hope Wilson's 100%. I know he got nicked up a little bit, so he's probably going to be, kind of careful a little bit on how he goes. But if Atlanta and Vic Beasley and the defense can put pressure, Dwight Freeney on you guys, remember we're going to have Devondre Campbell, Deion Jones, and Parv Warlow are probably going to be playing. And, you add Keanu O'Neal to the mix and A.J. Hawk in the mix. Short field, pressure the quarterback, we got a great chance. It's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah, well, I think it's both defenses have that same pressure on them. I think we both feel the need to get pressure on the other quarterback. Field position is important, and I
wonder why.
Time of possession too. The team that's got the ball is going to be the one to score. So I think what the media is not really spending a lot of time talking about is that Seattle's offense is really starting to click too, and we've been playing against some pretty tough defenses. And not to take anything away from Atlanta's defense, but you guys aren't exactly a top 10 defense at this point. True. So it's
a week by week. It's a week by week.
It's a week by week for sure. So we'll see what the story becomes. Is it Atlanta's offense against our D, or maybe the storyline will be Seattle's offense over your defense. So we'll have to play it out. It's kind
of like a two-way street there, because your offense can beat our defense if we don't have pressure, and at the same time, your defense could put pressure on us, and then if that's happening, then it's not going to be good. But I just feel like Atlanta's a lot better prepared. And I kept telling people, if we would have played you guys the week after Tampa Bay, I would have said no shot. But you can't blame me for being confident, Norb, with the way that we played the last 4 weeks and who we've beaten. So.
Well, we're the same way. We started off the first two games, almost could have lost to the Dolphins at home, beat them, lost to the Rams. At that point, there was not a lot of confidence going on. Our offense was struggling. Wilson was beat up. But since then, he's been looking very solid, and our offense, especially Jimmy Graham, has been really kicking into high gear. And
he's been a killer for us throughout the years.
I know you've seen plenty of
You know what I'm saying? And it's something about the NFC West. The NFC West is defense. The Rams aren't specifically, even though they're starting off pretty good, it's a defensive division. And because defense wins championships, you got to have it.
Well, and that brings up a factor that maybe not many people are talking about. I mentioned in my video tease yesterday about the weather we're having this week. Now, I know you guys down there in the southeast have been dealing with the hurricanes and everything like that, and that's been, it looks good right now, doesn't it?
Well, it is, sir. It is.
Well, we flipped the script because right now it's raining outside, which is not a big surprise, but we're expecting some pretty major windstorms that will probably knock out power for the next couple days. I think it's going to miss the brunt of it on the game day, but we'll still be pretty breezy conditions. So it's going to be wet, it's going to be cold, and it's going to be windy. And
you guys be safe, though. You guys be safe.
Oh, you got to be safe. But, I'm just thinking, Atlanta is a dome team. They're inside. They're very comfortable when they can be the fastest show on turf. But put out in the elements, that could be a factor that could change a lot of things and neutralize a lot of advantages.
That's true. True.
Tell me the reason why why are they going to win and why are they going to lose?
The obvious first why Atlanta is going to win this ball game is the confidence. Again, I can't stress that enough. When you're winning, you have confidence, and when you're confident, you win. We're going to win over Seattle because I feel like we're better prepared. I feel like this may seem kind of, I don't know, kind of unimportant, but Dan Quinn's been thinking about this for 2 years. When he left you guys to come over to us, so I think that's going to be motivation. The players are going to be pumped up. The players are going to be pumped up because of the way they're playing. The players are going to be excited because they're going to have something else to prove. They're being labeled, and it's going to be the main game on a Sunday, as it should be. We're going to be facing a one-time Super Bowl champion in recent years, who's made it twice in the last couple of years. Pete Carroll, you guys have a really good team, have established a winning foundation for years, because Seattle definitely didn't have that in the 80s. So, I mean, it's a great test for us to come up there, and I'm looking forward for it. And I just feel like we're playing at such a high level right now that I think the fact that y'all's offense is not quite there yet, and our offense has been from start to finish to this point, I think that's pretty much going to play the factor. I think Matt Ryan is going to be rushed, just like Denver game, but I think we're going to make enough plays spreading the ball around to win.
Why would Atlanta lose this game?
Atlanta would, to me, honestly, I think Atlanta's so prepared that they won't hurt themselves this time. I think if Seattle wins the game, Seattle's going to earn it. I think Seattle's going to just beat us. I think Seattle is going to win this game if they do, based on their home field, based on their defense. Just as, the Falcon players are going to be pumped, and Dan Quinn, the Seahawks are going to be pumped up. They're going to be pumped up to play their former defensive coordinator. Because the Falcons are basically the Seahawks and have been labeled that. Just like if you go, now I will make this short, but in the NBA, the Hawks and the Spurs. We got Bud coming from San Antonio, and we're considered the Spurs of the East. So that's motivation when you have somebody who's been in your system for so long, and your coaching staff and or players to play against the other team. I just think that if Seattle wins, they're just going to win because they're better at this stage. Because Russell Wilson is a proven quarterback, and Sherman, even though I don't really like him, he's a tough corner, and you got some really good linebackers. And if you win, you're going to run the ball on us. I don't know how you're running. I don't know if it's a by committee deal right now because you don't have a main back anymore. But I think you could run the ball against us, and I think if we're not bringing our defense from last week, you guys could shred us in deep or something. But that would all depend basically if we don't put pressure on Russell Wilson.
All right, so break it down for me. Give me your 4 keys to the game.
Matt Ryan, he has to be upright, number one. That's why I'm wearing the jersey. I'm repping the man. Matty Ice has to be how he's played the first 5 games. He can't get distracted. Even if he gets sacked, which he will a couple times, I'm sure, maybe throw a pick, he's got to have a short memory. Vic Beasley has to continue what he did last week. It was great to see him bust out defensively. We need Dwight Freeney to come in and provide the leadership that he's been providing. We need the linebackers I honestly believe we have fast linebackers, Norb, that I believe that key would be to take away Jimmy Graham. I mean, we know him all well here in Atlanta. So, Matt Ryan, number 1, the defense, number 2, field position, got to capitalize on field position and got to score first. That's how I feel, because if you put a team at home behind the 8 ball first, they already have to know they at least have to score once to tie. So,
all right, fair enough. Well,
so what about you?
I'll show you my keys to the game. It's almost like the mirror reflection of what you're saying. But the first one is putting Matty Ice on ice. The LOB's got to keep Julio Jones in check, and the linebackers got to keep those running backs contained. Can't let those running backs be running for 100 yards, pass catching for 100 yards. So that's, I think, defensively the key. Second one is pressure. I think Matt Ryan, he's good, like you said, when he's upright. You get him flustered, you get him kind of out of his game, out of rhythm, then I think that completely changes the tone of that offense. For me, 3 is flip the script, control the ball. Again, even yourself, it's not so much I think you're giving defense credit, but again, I think people are overlooking what Seattle's offense is doing right now. And if Seattle's offense can, like you said, they can control the ball, control the clock, run the ball, and score touchdowns on possessions, then there's opponent offense can't do anything if they don't have the ball. So I think that's the other part of it. And then the 4th one, that's the big one, ties in with the weather, turnovers and special teams. I think in the end, it's going to be decided by special teams. I think it's going to be so close. I think it's going to be back and forth that in the end it's going to be a missed field goal, a muffed punt, a punt return for a touchdown, something like that, or a wacky turnover that decides the game. That in my
just keep in mind, Norb, we have 2 pick sixes already.
All right.
And we got Eric Williams, who's capable. I don't know if you're going to ask another question, but I do want to ask you this. How did you feel personally with Dan Quinn leaving Seattle to come to Atlanta And how do you think his present impact here is going to play with the team this year moving forward?
Well,
what does Dan Quinn actually bring here to the Falcons?
Well, he was a great defensive coordinator, and we were all bummed when he left. And it's not the first time a defensive coordinator has left to go coach for somebody else. Gus Bradley went to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Dan Quinn everybody loved Dan Quinn, and we all assumed in time that Atlanta would become a great team because he's a great coach, and it was just a matter of trying to find out, is he a great head coach? I think he is. I think last year, like you said, he got off to a good start, kind of lost their way, had some bad breaks, but no, he's everybody loves him out here. And while Chris Richard, our new defensive coordinator, is doing a good job in his place, I still hold Dan Quinn in super high regard because he's kind of the guy who maintained and kept that number one stamp on the Seattle defense. Kind of really got that to that level where everybody's really afraid of him and dominating during that Super Bowl run. So we miss him out here, but again, that's kind of why it's hard to hate the Falcons, because Dan Quinn is a cool coach. And so I think we're going to be battling out for a while, because as long as Quinn's your coach, I think it's going to be pretty competitive for a while. So he's good.
Oh, and get Bennett over here. He was supposed to come. He was talking about, I remember a year ago or 2 years ago, he said he was going to come play for the Falcons. If you ever see him, tell him I said he needs to come over here and wear this.
Yeah, well, didn't Bruce Irvin say he was going to go to play with you guys? Wasn't
he
at a basketball game saying, next year I'm going to play with the
Raiders.
Atlanta Falcons? And where's he at now with the Raiders?
Yeah, but I think I think if it comes up again, I think there's a good chance that one of those two would want to come. So.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We know Bennett's not exactly happy with his contract. I hope they get something worked out, because if we lose that dude, that would be a huge blow. So I hope they get
trust me, if there's any future landing spot, most likely it would be here, I'm sure.
Yeah. All I know is Michael Bennett's got the smallest shoulder pads in the history of football. They go out to right here. I think he's wearing a child's small size shoulder pads. But hey, whatever gets the job done. He doesn't
play like a child. He's a really good football player.
He is a beast, and we love having him. So,
yes, sir.
I guess as we start to wrap this thing up, make sure to tell everybody where to find you. I mean, I'm linking you on this YouTube anyway, but why don't you put all your social information so people can track you and follow you in other places.
Well, I appreciate it. So, guys, if first of all, if you're a football fan, a Falcons fan, and you like to talk trash, because I'm a little more hyper in my videos than I am here, I'm respectful, to Norb. You can look me up on SportsLiveInTheATL. Again, that's just one word, SportsLiveInTheATL. Been doing it since 2009. On Twitter, @ATL39. Those are the only social medias that I really use to talk sports. But if you're looking to be entertained, if you're looking for somebody who, if you like to talk to somebody and you win and you want to see proper credit and crow, per se, as Seahawks crow, I will give it to you. I will make it worth your while when my team loses and when we win. And I always try my best to acknowledge everybody that makes videos, that follows my channel, and some typers, because it's an interaction deal, and I just love it. I just love it. So. SportsLiveInTheATL, that's how I feel.
All right. Well, and that goes back to you guys. You guys have been watching us banter our little BS back and forth about this. Who do you guys think is going to win this game? We want to hear your thoughts about the game in the comments down below.
Tell us how bad Atlanta's going to beat Seattle by. Will it be by 20 or 30?
Yeah, and if you're as disillusioned as my friend here, go ahead and feel free to type away, and
type away, please.
Happen.
But I got nothing but respect for Seattle. There's no legitimate hate for the Seahawks. I've always respected how they play, and I've always wanted. I was so happy to get Dan Quinn. I was so happy to know that we finally got a coach that believes in playing defense. We've had issues with that for years here, and it's slowly starting to come to fruition. He's a nice guy, and if I'm ever up in Seattle in the Pacific Northwest, I'll bring my raincoat, my rain jacket, and I'll make sure I come up there and we'll do something proper, sir.
We'll have to meet up for sure if you're ever in the area. And if I ever come down to Atlanta, I'll definitely look you up. And
I got you.
We'll have to do something. But before I let you go, I mean, you talk a big game here. But let's see. Are you willing to put your money where your mouth is?
You mean? Yeah, sure. Why not? As long as within reason, sure.
I'm not going to let you get off that easy by my.
Am I going to go bankrupt?
Well, I'm not a betting man. I don't bet actual money, but I like to put a little friendly wager out on there. So,
sure.
So let's just figure out what we're going to do here. for the guy who wins and the guy who loses, what's the call here? And I have a suggestion. Let's see if we run it by you. You know how I like to paint my face up during Seahawks games, right?
Yes, you do. So Halloween is your favorite time of year?
Oh, yes, it definitely is. I know you're not, from what I've seen, you're not a real face-painting guy, but
no.
Should the person, whoever loses this game, go away. Whoever loses this game, the loser must paint their face in the other team's colors in their next video, whenever that time works out, and basically confess their failures to predict the game accordingly and admit defeat to the superior team.
So I would basically have to have a come to sports Jesus moment with myself.
Yeah, you just have to
paint my face green.
One of us has to admit that the other team kicked our butt in the other face painted in the other team's colors.
Yeah, and you red and black, sir.
I would wear red and black and do the same thing if you end up beating us.
And me wearing a heavy green.
You got to have green and blue ideally, but you definitely got to have some green in there. But yeah, green and blue, and I would do red and black. What do you say?
No, Norb, I like you. I accept the bet, and I will expect it within the month and a half, sir. You need me to ship you the paint. I accept the bet, sir.
Don't worry, I will. I'm a man of my word. I will get it done quickly, should it come to that. However, I have a feeling that I will not have to worry about buying any paints of the wrong
Maybe
color.
look for Lowe's or Home Depot.
Party City.
Atlanta's very popular for that.
All right, sir.
Okay, well,
I guess that's it. Anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
One question. How Super Bowl legitimate would you say the Falcons are, and what would it take for Seattle to get back, in your opinion, to how they were a couple years ago? Or do you think they're quite there yet?
So two questions there. So is Atlanta Super Bowl legitimate? Well, I think it's pretty clear that your offense, you have the offensive firepower. But as the old saying says, defense wins championships. And I feel like right now, I have not seen Atlanta tested against a really good offense, much like we haven't been tested against a really good offense. And maybe this will be the test for both of us. Maybe we're both being tested this week as against two very good offenses. So I need to see what that defense looks like against a team that is legitimately, in the top 10 as an offense, just to make that determination. But offensively, you guys definitely have the goods if you can stay healthy. As far as Seattle, I'm going to stand by my prediction from the beginning that I say we are going to go back to the Super Bowl. In order for that to happen, obviously, as with all teams, the key players got to stay healthy. And we haven't been that way from the get-go because Russell got hurt. We don't have our full complement of running backs as Thomas Rawls has been injured and hasn't really even played at all. And I was counting him to be our workhorse. So we've been relying on Christian Michael, who really was kind of almost like the number 3 guy coming out of camp. So our running game, to me, hasn't even really caught on, and we are a running identity is our running game. So we've actually had to adjust, and we've become more of a passing team, which is really not Pete Carroll's philosophy. So if we can get Thomas Rawls back, continue to have our offensive line improve, and have our running game balance out with our already developing passing game, and the defense just continues to play steady like they do, I think that's the formula for getting back to the Super Bowl.
Well, I will say this. I hope to make the Super Bowl. But right now, hey, it's been an honor to be on your show, Norb. And from one sports competitor to another, the game aside, hey man, you guys in Seattle keep rooting for your team. You got a good team, have been for years, and I hope that the Falcons and Seahawks put on one heck of a show to warrant being two of the top teams in the NFC and make this Sunday showdown a very memorable one. So Seahawk fans, Norb, from Hot Atlanta to you guys, I wish you all the best, man. Good luck.
Thanks, man, and same to you. Respect to you, man, for you and your passion for the team and the Atlanta nation out there. I've met several of your fans, and they're all pretty cool people. So, yeah, let's see a good game.
Bird, the real bird.
Just remember that word right there, baby.
Oh, that hurts me. That hurts. That's what we all want, the Super Bowl championship.
Sir.
That's what's up.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. All right, let's see a good game. A safe one. Let's come out of this thing injury-free.
Very much so.
And who knows? Maybe we'll meet again later down in the line of the season in the playoffs.
Let's hope so.
All right. Good luck to you, man.
Thank you, too, guys.
All right. Go Hawks.
Nothing I can hear but all of you fans. Nothing but the best fans up in the stands.